everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to part 2 of my February wrap-up. So I think this is going to be the last month that I split the wrap-up into 2 parts because I'm going to add in my goal updates at the end of the month, and I feel like it just makes more sense and like applies better to just do it 1 month at a time and be a little bit less detailed than I normally am. So yeah, I think I'm going to do the second part right now and then try March to do all in one wrap up. So we'll see how it goes, but let's just get into the stats for the second half of February. So this is February 15th through the 28th. And again, I'm just going to go through the books in the order that I read them. I'll tell you my star rating. I'll only tell you stuff about them if it's a favorite or least favorite, or like I really have something to say, because I'm not going to give you a synopsis on all of these because I vlog every single day. And so if you want to hear more of my thoughts, like I said, I'm going to go through these in the order that I read them. So I will link my vlog playlist down below. I always put a picture of the book cover in the thumbnail. So if you want to hear more about any specific book, you can go to that vlog. I hope that makes sense. Let's just get into it. So the second half of February, I read 12 books, and that equals out to 4,046 pages, which is 289 pages per day, which feels still pretty good. I would say that I was really slumpy, but looking at those numbers, like it still feels okay. So star rating wise, I had 1 5-star, 2 4-stars, 6 3.5 stars, 2 3 stars, and 1 2.5 stars. So the average rating was 3.54, which is again about where I've been sitting lately. So that was 6 off my shelf and 6 from somewhere else, 10 female authors and 1 male author, and then 1 that was multiple authors. I had all 12 were adult. There was 9 novels, 1 graphic novel, 1 novella, and 1 tome. So I read something well over 500 pages, and that was a doozy, you guys. As far as the location of where I got them, I listened to 3 on Hoopla. I had 2 from Kindle Unlimited, 3 from Libby, 1 from the library, 1 from Libro FM, and 1 from my shelf. As far as publication years, I had 1 from 2010 to 2014, 6 from 2015 to 2019, 4 from 2020, and 1 from 2021. So let's just get into the books. The first one I read was Just Like Heaven by Julia Quinn, and this is for Historathon. It is a historical romance. I didn't even mean to do that, but I would say that I really don't like historical romance. However, I really surprisingly enjoyed this one. It is the first in the Smythe-Smith quartet, and I gave it 4 stars. Next is Kindred, a graphic novel adaptation, and this is the original story is by Octavia Butler, and the adaptation is by John Jennings and Damian Duffy, and I gave that one 3.5 stars. I liked the format of graphic novel. I think there's definitely downsides and upsides to the graphic novel versus the novelization. I gave it 3.5 stars, like I said, because I think it is an important story, and I really liked being able to see context as well as facial expressions and that kind of thing. But it wasn't the most enjoyable reading experience. So 3.5 stars. Then I read Hoops Holiday by Kennedy Ryan, and I gave that 3.5 stars. Then I read Giddy Up, Eunice by Sophie Hudson, and I really liked that. I gave that 5 stars. It is a nonfiction Christian self-help about why women need each other, and the importance of women friendships as well as like women mentorships. So having people older and younger than you that you can kind of pour into and be poured into and learn from and just love on each other. And I really like that message of just women loving each other and helping each other. And I just really like that. Then I read Sweet Talkin' Lover by Tracy Livesay, and I gave that 3 stars. It was a good enough story. It was just too steamy for me. But then I did go on to read number 2 in the series, which is called Like Lovers Do, and I gave that one 3.5 stars. I liked it a little bit more, but it was still very, very steamy. Next is The Perfect Nanny by Layla Slimani, and I gave that 2.5 stars. It was just so slow, and the whole buildup was to something you found out on the first page. And so it was a thriller that had 0 thrills, and like the tension was all for nothing. Then I read Una Out of Order, and I gave this one 4 stars. I just thought it was a unique concept. I was fully entertained. I enjoyed it. Then I read A Promised Land by Barack Obama, and that is my almost 800 page or whatever tome. And I really enjoyed it. I do think it was too long. I listened to it on audio and it was 29 hours long. And as much as I love that man and I love hearing his insights on both personal life and politics, it was just a little too long. So I gave that one 3.5 stars. Then I read The Paris Library, and this is one that I read on Libro FM as a part of their ALC program. So thank you to them for having that program and for allowing me to listen a little bit early. I gave this one 3.5 stars as well. It is a historical fiction during World War II, and I really enjoyed it. There were just a couple things I didn't love about it. And then Southern Storms by Brittany C. Cherry. This is one of her newer and yet one of her weaker, in my opinion. I gave it 3.5 stars. We talked about it. This was the Book Sisters Book Club pick for the month, and so I will link the live show up above so you can hear all of our thoughts, because let me just say that only one of us finished it, and that one of us had a lot of opinions. So next and finally is The Scent Keeper. And I gave this one 3 stars. It was very mystical and magical, and I just felt like the tone was a lot darker than it needed to be, and overall it was just kind of all over the place for me, so I gave it 3 stars. So those are all of the books that I read in February. Now, I don't really know where a good goal update is, so I'm going to stick it onto this, and we'll just talk about where I'm at with my 2021 goals. So the first and arguably most important goal that I had for 2021 was to decrease my physical TBR. So I started the month at 312 books, and I ended the month at 323 books. So I increased my physical TBR by 11. That is 2 months in a row that I increased. However, I think this is slightly less than from January to February, so that's a good thing, I guess. I don't really know. So I hauled 23, I unhauled 3, and I read an additional 9. So that is where we're at with that goal. Not my best, but I am doing 2 projects to read off my shelf. So for those projects, they are first the Unread Shelf Project, which the challenge was a book you got for free. So I read You'll Never Believe What Happened to Lacey by Lacey Lamar and Amber Ruffin. And this was a book that I was sent from Grand Central Publishing. So thank you so much to them. I read that and that knocked off that challenge. So the second challenge is the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, and it was to read a book with a red on the cover or on the spine. So Giddy Up Eunice counts for that. It's got red here, kind of stretching it, but it counts. Then the other goal that I had was to read more thrillers, but I only read 1 this month. However, I was heavily participating in both of those readathons, and there was only 1 thriller prompt. So I'm giving myself some grace on that one. The other goals that I had were fitness and mom related. So fitness related, I had challenged myself to do the plank challenge, and that is where you hold a plank for a minute a day or whatever period of time you do. And so at the end of January, I had done a minute a day for every day. And so in February, I increased that to 1 minute and 15 seconds. And so I have done that every single day. So that feels really good to have that accomplished. Other fitness related goal I have is to lift more frequently. I can't remember if I said a certain number of days per week, but I have this little color chart where the blue days are days that I did lift and the red days are days that I did not. And in February, I didn't color the last day, but I did lift every single day in February. I'm filming this on March 1st. I have not lifted today, and I have not colored in the last day of February, but I did lift every single day in February, and they were all different body parts and different intensity levels and that kind of thing. So I feel like really accomplished doing that. But today is March 1st. I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep, and so I don't think I'm going to lift today. And I'm like, gosh, this perfect month. And then I think I'm going to start March with a red, but that's okay. And then the last goal is just to get more outside time with my kids. So we have this 1,000 hours outside colorable chart, and we started it on January 26th. And the goal is to get 1,000 hours outside in a year. However, the climate that I live in, I don't know if that's possible. Also, because of the fact that my kids both take long naps in the afternoon and Annie's nursing, like there's a lot of reasons why I don't think we'll hit this in a year. But I really am liking to color the different charts charts and see how long it takes us. I'm really just curious. And so also the being on my phone list, I think I've talked about it last month, but I turned off all notifications. That is still working really good for me. I'm not winning or nailing that by any means, but it's progress. So that is everything for my February part 2 wrap up, as well as my goals update. Like I said, next month, I think it'll make more sense just to do a full March wrap up. So we'll see how it goes. If you guys have a preference either way, let me know, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.